Yeah, I'm hoping that it's not like sitting concerts or whatever you call it.
Oh, right.
In
Yeah.
October, but actually last October we played a show for like I think it was like 300 people,
Hmm.
and a lot of them were our friends. It was in Copenhagen. But yeah, 300 people, 350 or something. But that was actually really cool because everyone were sitting down, but they were still headbanging. And I, th- I think I saw one person trying to crowd surf on top of his friends. Well, like while they were sitting down, it's like it was like so fucking cool. But people were like hit banging sitting down, so it looked like fucking Viking ships. People were rowing. It was like so badass.
Andreas of Siamese, you're stopping by today. You got back to me within like 24 hours, which is really cool, dude. I appreciate you coming on. This is
No
pretty
problem,
rad.
man.
This is pretty rad. Where is Siamese located? Are you guys like kind of like within the same area?
Yeah, we are in Copenhagen, Denmark.
Okay, and that's where you all mostly grew up throughout the years and such.
We grew up. Well, Denmark is really small, so we all grew up. Yeah, just in Sjælland. There's like is a lot of islands, Denmark, and we all grew up like within 4 hours of each other. I think
Oh, that's
it's a
fascinating.
small country. It's very really small country, but
Yeah,
yeah. So everything is basically pretty close within like 4 or 5 hours.
I
Yeah.
had other guests on the show from Australia, Tristan from
Mhm.
Waxflower. I have guests from um, Russia, Totally from Wild Ways. I had my friend John Howe from the UK. He
Right.
used to live in the UK, but now he lives in LA. So
Mm.
those scenes seem to be, in my opinion, a lot closer together than some of the states like within the USA because the USA is so massive.
Yeah.
How was growing up in the scene as a local musician um, with like the scene that you grew up in? Because I'm sure it had to be like
It
so
was it
small.
was so weird because everyone kind of knew who each other was.
Yeah.
Because like I think being I guess you would call it a emo kid in Denmark, it was just I think it was like a couple of hundred people, and that was like the entire country. So everyone came to Copenhagen to see the same shows every time, and I think there was some sort of social media, like a different platform back
Hmm.
then. So everyone was kind of like finding each other, and everyone just met up at yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Whenever an American band would come to Copenhagen and play, so it was yeah, it was cool.
That's so wild. So like your
But it was
MySpace
just like a village that kind of gathered uh, every once in a while. So
so like your MySpace top like 10 friends
yeah,
would like all be the
the
same.
MySpace area. Yeah, find me on MySpace.
All your top friends are like the same friends.
Yeah,
Everybody's got the same group of friends. That's
the
wild, dude.
same haircut and the same fucking clothes and all that stuff.
Because out in the U.S., man, like they're like New Jersey and Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, like the inner cities
Yeah,
usually have really good scenes. Chicago is also another one that has a really good
yeah,
scene,
yeah,
but there's so many of us; it's very oversaturated. So
yeah.
I feel like that's like just a whole different support system. Like I think that's great that those countries, especially in Denmark, like you were saying, that everybody really comes together and just throws on really good shows and everybody plays with everybody and everybody's like has been
Yeah.
in bands with one another and such. So that's pretty rad.
It's pretty cool because when it's such a small country, like everyone, there's actually quite a few like screamo or like that emo genre. There was quite a few bands actually um, that kind of started around the same time, and yeah, it's just everyone kind of hung out together because they had something in common, and yeah, it was just funny because everyone like in their home, like small hometown, I guess people felt like they were the only one who listened to that kind of music, and then all of a sudden there's like a whole community in Copenhagen where like people just there's actually someone else here that likes the same music as me, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's a really great like opportunity for everybody to get a chance to play with one another. And Siamese, the band has been around for quite some time. So, but you guys were originally called Siamese Fighting Fish. What made
Yeah.
you change the name? That's pretty cool. You talk about it often in some of the interviews I see, but like for the viewers that don't know much of Siamese right now, it's like that's interesting. Like why
um
the name change?
it was Siamese Fighting Fish. It was just a shitty name, to be honest. It was just long and difficult. But to be fair, like Siamese Fighting Fish actually existed before I joined the band 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was some kind of metaphor for the music or whatever. It's actually some kind of species of fish. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but it was some kind of symbolism or metaphor for the music. I think they told me. But everyone, all of our friends and everyone that listens to the band, they would just say, "Oh, Siamese is playing." So I think we were at Roskilde Festival. That's like one of the big festivals here in Denmark and or in Europe actually. We were just really drunk one night, and we were just standing together, and we were like, why don't we just call the band Siamese instead? That's way easier, and everyone that knows us just calls us Siamese. So
Right.
that was yeah, we just changed it.
Hell yeah. No, it sounds great, dude. I mean, and especially like the production quality that has been coming out over the years, dude. Like, and we can get into
I
more depth
think
with that. Like the recent releases with like your singles with featuring Drew from Straight from the Path was a banger, dude. Um,
thank
I are those I'm sure those featured vocalists like him are were still to this day are huge influences of the band itself. So it must have been so refreshing to be like, oh, dude, we got him on track. This is so tight. Like.
Yeah, well, it was kind of funny because I think I kind of got into Stray from the Path a couple of months before we invited Drew on the track, and yeah, it was just I wouldn't say I was a huge fan, but I definitely became a big fan like just before like just before we got them on the tracks. So it wasn't I wouldn't say it was like a childhood dream or anything, but it was definitely like uh one of our peers or someone that we really looked up to, I think. And yeah, it's just really cool that you can just ask and people will actually sometimes say yes. So
Yeah, you even got
yeah,
Dayseeker to come on too, dude. Like another
yeah,
huge vocalist, and a lot of people. We were
yeah.
talking earlier off record. Like not a lot of people know Dayseeker, which is surprising. So, I think
He
you
has a
need to.
great fucking voice, Rory. Like
Yeah, dude.
his vocals are so good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Was that the same
it's just
situation?
it's yeah, we just Mirza, our singer, I think he just wrote him, and he was just open to like we just sent him the track, and here's like if they want to write their own lyrics or their own melodies or whatever, they can do that. Or with with Drew on home, he actually wrote his own verse, and we kind of collaborated on a few lyrics. And with Rory, he was just like, guys, it sounds great. Let me just sing what you wrote. So it's kind of been a little bit different from each song, but yeah, it's just yeah, it's really cool
That's
that
so
they wanted
fucking
to do.
cool,
So
dude. Yeah, because they're like. I mean, I think these bands are game changers. I mean, Straight from the Path has been around for a while.
yeah,
But with Dayseeker coming up, through into the mainstream in a sense, it's great to have him as a feature for Siamese because I think that just opens up more doors for possibilities of having
mm,
the band come to the United States
yeah.
and tour that.
and it wasn't like, I guess there's some kind of like marketing move in like doing features,
Mm.
but it's we wouldn't do it if they didn't add something to the song. If it didn't make the song better, um, we wouldn't do it. Like it has to add something new to the song. And I think Drew and Rory definitely did that on those two songs. So yeah, to be totally honest, yeah, it is a bit of a it is definitely good marketing when there's a bigger band on your song, but it was for me, at least for me, it was definitely more about the song. Like they actually added something really cool to those songs. So yeah.
Yeah. And this is I'm gonna say this right now for the record, so that when it happens, I can say that I was right. But I think Siamese is gonna be one of those bands that is gonna be touring with those bands and such, like Bring Me the Horizon and all that shit. Like I just see it, dude.
That would be fucking great. We're,
I
we
see it.
really we're really hyped that we're actually going on tour with Slaves this
Yeah.
fall,
Yeah.
and yeah,
October, right? I think.
yeah, and yeah, we're just really excited about that. But yeah, Bring Me the Horizon, that would be pretty cool too.
Yeah, it's kind of in the
But
same realm of sound for sure.
yeah, but
Similar.
I think we've been definitely been like that's one of the bands that we definitely have been influenced by for quite some time. And I think yeah, and it kind of came natural to us at the same time, like doing that sample based rock music, because that's just me as a producer, I guess.
Yeah.
And listening to Linkin Park and all that stuff.
Oh hell yeah.
And like films, like movie scores and all that stuff, like the theatrical, but still like I got really into dubstep and drum and bass and all that stuff like 10 years ago. So there's definitely been an element when we made the music. We started writing together.
How do you where do you pull inspiration from? Is it musically? Is it a situation when it comes to your like writing process in general?
Like when we started I joined the band with our old violinist, actually, Jonas. And there was our singer's idea to have a fiddler, I guess you would call it,
Mm.
a guy that played the violin, just to kind of we were kind of like inspired by System of a Down and like lots of different weird stuff 10 years ago. And our process back then would be like to sit in a circle in the rehearsal room and just argue for months, and some kind of uh, album would emerge from that. Um, and then we started like finding out like who's good at what in this band.
Mm.
And gradually it's just been now it's just Mirza and me actually just writing the songs, because we have some we had 10 years to learn how to write together, and it just works really well. And I think we write better and better, like more and more, like better and better songs.
Yeah,
And
adding the violin itself is just like another element of of a difference that sticks out too, and it just brings like another
yeah,
sound to the songs that you probably wouldn't see as often. I mean, we know like Yellow Card is one of those big ones that used to do it,
yeah,
um, but
maybe
no,
that was
it's a great
his
element.
inspiration. But I think it took like 3 albums for us to figure out how to like for the violin to find its place in the music, and we had some pretty heated discussions during those 3 first albums, because it's like having a second front singer,
Mm,
the way we used it, at least, because it's like just solo violin. And it was just back then it was like, do you have that expression, too many chefs in the kitchen?
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
cooking
it's
too much
just
of the
when
same recipe. Yeah.
yeah, but it's just like if say you're 5 guys, and the five, like everyone gets their way all the time, then you're gonna end up with parts that have like 5 melodies all the time. It'll just become a mess. So it's and we didn't have we had producers, but they're more like engineers. So I think gradually, like during the last 10 years, I more and more like took the producer role and songwriter role because that's what I do for a living anyways. So
Yeah. And
and it just I think we have a really cool process now where it's just Mirza and me will just go away and write a bunch of songs and then introduce the other guys later on. And if they have something to add or some changes, whatever, like some better ideas, then we'll do that.
yeah, I really like that process too. I think it's fantastic that you as well are the main producer behind everything too, although you do it for a living. But
Mm.
to work on that with your music, there's a few bands I know out there that do that. There's a band called Abandoned by Bears. They're like an easycore pop punk band from Sweden,
Yeah.
and their producer, he's just so well rounded. And I asked him like, when they toured the U.S. and we played a show together, I was like, do you guys think they're gonna go to like another producer of some sort? He's like, oh no, like if we can make it work as it is
Mm.
right now, like why would we go anywhere else? I'm like, no, that makes sense. Yeah, that's interesting. I just
Yeah.
don't. It's very rare that I see bands that like do a lot of all DIY. Kind of like Our Last Night. Our Last Night definitely does all DIY too.
Yeah. But it's kind of we're just used to doing stuff ourselves. Yeah, and we yes, our front singer, he's the manager for the band, so he's a great businessman, and he's actually a manager for like 15 other bands. Like he's the guy in like for Danish metal.
Mm-hmm.
He's the dude.
Okay.
So he's like managing all the gent or metal like young metal bands or established metal bands in Denmark. So we kind of have our own production house in some way.
Musicians take notes if you're listening and watching because you're doing it
um,
right.
but we spent like 15 years developing that.
Yeah, it
Um,
does definitely
but
take some time. It doesn't happen overnight, but that's
yeah,
fantastic
but
that you're still
it's really
incorporating it.
really cool that if you can get it to work, yeah, then you're in a really good position. But yeah, it's just I'm gonna say something controversial in band world here. It's just like speaking of the process and all that stuff. It's not always a good thing. Like democracy in a creative process is not always a good thing.
I
Like
like
that's
that
what
take.
we learned like in the first albums. It's that's something like if it's a good producer, he will know what to kind of. Are you playing that because it's fun or because it actually serves the song or the part?
Mm.
It's hard to recognize the difference sometimes, especially if you're a guitarist or a musician that wants to play something that's really cool.
Yeah, and your bandmates also have that trust factor of letting you and your vocalists sit in a basement, locking yourselves in, write these songs, come back out, and if they have other little things to add to them, like
Yeah,
that's
we
great.
try to write the like cool drum fills and whatever, like whatever we can. But yeah, we started actually recording real drums again because that like I think the last two albums we didn't have real drums. That was like programmed drums.
Hmm.
And I'm so glad that we actually got in the studio and got Joachim, our drummer. It just adds something. I think it was because everyone started to do that like programmed drums gent thing.
Yeah,
It's like there's something about it like the budgets and all that stuff too. Because it's just way cheaper to just program drums, and it actually sounds really good now with the technology. But he's a great drummer, so yeah, it just adds a bit of more of a performance, I guess, or some more life.
yeah,
So
absolutely. And I see bands too, or producers. They when they take live drums, then they just they record the drums and then they just replace it with samples for
mm,
presets that they have too. That's also another thing, but it still sounds really real.
yeah,
But
totally.
obviously it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just programmed drums. It's like MIDI keyboard. Like put this kick here, snare here, for 2 albums, and I think it's really it was a good decision that we got our drummer back into the studio, because he plays it differently than you would program it, I guess.
Especially if he's doing ghost notes and he's doing different like frequencies with like how hard he's actually hitting the kit with the cymbals in itself. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But if your drummer isn't good, sometimes it's better to just program that shit. You have to play well, man. You have to play well.
I know. I've talked to.
I'm glad we have a good drummer.
Yeah, seriously. I think I'm just glad you guys are a really good band. But I've talked to producers too, and I do feel bad when they do have musicians that come in and they're not prepared and they do the professional thing and they put in they do put in program drums and such and sample them over, which is fine, but artists should really be prepared before going to the studio.
Yeah, it's weird going to, like, I think you kind of like hype yourself up a little bit too much sometimes if you like get the most expensive, biggest studio you can get to, and sometimes your performance won't be as good as the fucking demo guitars or especially vocals. I think with vocals that's really important. I've written a lot of like songs, especially like pop songs, where we ended up using the demo vocals because the singer was like hungover or had a heartbreak that day or whatever.
Wow.
It just felt more honest, and that's it's just, it happens often, you know.
Yeah, we're all humans. We're not perfect, but
it's just like it's all about the performance. You can always like correct a little pitch or timing or whatever it is. For me, it's definitely about the performance and the honesty in the deliverance, I guess.
Yep. And then if they have creative ideas, the one creative idea I really liked about Siamese is when you use Gwen Stefani's sample of bananas and bananas. That's really cool, dude. That's tight. I was like, I didn't expect that. It was like kind of like thrown out of left field. I was like, oh, this is fucking dope. Like,
Gwen Stefani's, it was so weird with that song. I think we rewrote that song like 10 times, and I think it was like an accident that I think it was just I need to listen to some other music, and I think Hollaback Girl was just on my playlist, and I just clicked that song, and it's like Mia Sayar, a singer, who was just like humming that melody or that chant, and it's like that's kind of funny actually. And we ended up just using that, and it just fits so well. We thought, and it was kind of fun and different.
It sticks out. Are you guys fans of No Doubt, like her first band?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Good songs.
Yeah, they were like one of the original fucking punk rock bands in Warped Tour. Did like
totally.
Yeah, like they kind of like they were the best around, honestly. And then she just went solo, dude. I was like, okay, I still love your music, but I just miss No Doubt for sure.
Yeah, it's just good songs. But there was definitely. I think we did it a couple of other times, like sampled stuff. Or maybe I'm thinking about our The Weeknd cover. Or we did a couple of covers.
Ooh, I gotta check that out. I definitely missed that one.
Okay, we did a cover of Party Monster. But it's just there's something about like I grew up. I started playing guitar when I was 7, but I got into it when I discovered Blink-182 and like pop punk and all that stuff, and it was just like it's just good pop songs, and it just has that energy. So if there's like a good pop song that's not in that genre, it just fits so well when it has like up-tempo drums and fast guitars. It's just really does something cool.
Yeah, you're basically on the borderline of being experimental too, like, but nothing like out of this world experimental, like how Ender Shikari is with their music. But you guys definitely have that realm of element with experimentation. Which is cool.
we try to, because I think we're a bit afraid to be too like, or we're so dark middle, like too. I think we're not into that. We definitely made a lot of really hard, crazy, weird songs, but we always try to do something like a little bit different. Not that we succeeded all the time, but I think we had like some different stages, or like different phases, where like we got really into R&B, and then everything had to be like funky, and like we tried to like, oh, it has to be heavy but still sexy, or
Yeah, fuck yeah.
and then we kind of overdid that, and then we got into something else and overdid that, and I think we're finally after 10 years not overdoing anything anymore. Like we've been through those phases, and like, okay, now we're gonna not be too funk or too this and that.
Yeah, and then it goes back to saying like there's not too many hands, or there's not too many chefs in the kitchen. It's very it's written very well and structure wise, so that way the fundamentals of the song is there before presenting it to the rest of the band and such, which is, I think, super healthy.
And the cool thing, like I think we spent 2 years so far on this new album.
Wow. How many songs did you throw away? You know, like
I've written. Yesterday I made it's called Siamese 2019 riff 1, 2, 3, 4. I was on 102 yesterday.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Bro, that's insane.
And there's a lot of shit.
That's a lot of riffs.
But it's like is everything from just an idea. Oh, what if we just do an a cappella chorus with a vocoder or something, like, or string arrangements. It could be everything from that or a riff to a finished song. I think Home was the first song where we were like, yeah, that's cool. That's new. That's the new Siamese. And that was number 20 in those sessions.
Those riffs.
The Siamese riff 20.
My God.
I was about to say the other band members, like, I think we all know what it's not supposed to sound like. It just has to sound new, and that just takes time.
I can say, like, I can comp them with all of these bands, but like, do they kind of sound the same? Not really. Like, I think the range in vocals is the only comparisons that you can really make, because the higher tenor is there, for sure.
Yeah, but so that's why it's been taking so long to. But we released our last album in 2019, so it's not that long ago. But we're just used to writing really fast. We're pretty good at writing like strong choruses now. That's kind of our thing. And doing like hooks and stuff, but it's just we can't do that R&B stuff anymore. It has to be more impressive, more dramatic, more something. So that's why, like, we're really challenging ourselves on this coming album, and you just have to throw a lot of stuff away. We did at least.
Do you think of like concept albums? Is that ever in the back of your head for Siamese, like having a concept album?
I think of concept songs. That's how I think very often. I have like a sheet or a note on my phone where, like, oh, it would be cool to do this because I heard it in like a dubstep song or a pop song or whatever. Oh, it'd be cool to do the rock version of that for a breakdown or whatever. But sometimes it's just a melody. We still jam. We're actually pretty. When we just jam on the piano or with the guitar, Mias and me, we're just usually something cool comes out, but it's usually really pop. So sometimes it's better for me to just write a big chorus with like all the heavy guitars and the orchestral stuff, and he was like, oh yeah, that's a really cool vibe. And we'll just write a melody over it, like, because the whole atmosphere and the vibe is there.
Yeah. 100%. No, it definitely has a good atmosphere for sure.
I think the chorus for Home, I wrote it like that, and then we were kind of having trouble with finding the melody for the chorus, and then we just took it down on the piano and wrote it like a ballad. So
No shit. Okay.
yeah, because we just had those 4 chords, and then like just play around on the piano, play some pretty melodies and stuff, and like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah, that's an interesting take.
that.
So Home basically is a 2-year-old song in a sense.
Yeah,
New.
I think we wrote it in 2020 sometime, like start of the year,
Okay.
and there was definitely like, yeah, it was the first time in a while that we felt like, okay, this is something special. I don't think I listened as much to one of our own songs as Home. It's like,
Really? I love that.
it's just because it was so fucking hard, and it was kind of inspired by Refused, that Swedish band,
Yes.
for the verses, and it was just something new, that yeah, just felt different. So I was really into that song.
It
Still
has
am.
a shock factor. It has a shock factor because when I
Yeah.
first listened to it, the it that build up of the levels of the guitar, kind of like ringing it in. It's just you're already kind of building the momentum right out of the gate, and those are
Mm.
the songs that like really catch the attention of the listener because, I mean, with Spotify and streaming music in general, you only have what, not even 10 seconds to really grab the attention of somebody.
Yeah,
But
it's really
anytime,
fucking hard.
yeah, and then you have to structure the whole song and have to like sell it the entire time. But you
Yeah.
know, when I first heard the song and when I put it on TikTok and stuff, I was like, it's so hard not to just like press back and listen to the same intro 9 times, 10 times. You know what I mean? Because it's already
Yeah.
so catchy. So it's like, I think that's what bands need to take into consideration when they release these singles, is
Mm.
to really have that first drawn attention.
Yeah, but it's
Audio
so
wise.
fucking hard to do. I think that riff, or the electronic riff thing, that was actually an accident, because I just found like a weird, like it was crazy sound that I found on Splice.
Oh
It's
my
like
god.
iTunes for producers. It's like
Ah,
a
let's
sample,
go.
like like that weird fucking electronic sound.
Yeah.
And the day before, one of my friends, he recommended like a plugin to me that was like it chops a audio signal, so it kind of like it makes it's hard to explain. It makes like rhythms, or chops it up and makes rhythms out of a sound, and you just put it on and like programmed it a little bit, and it was like, oh shit, that sounds pretty cool.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
uh and I just wanted to give it space, that sound. So the guitars are like da 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 da, pause,
Yeah.
da 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 da.
And you let the
So
electronics like flow through. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, it was just very different from everything else that we had released. So
Yeah, now that I think about it, it kind of that 10 seconds of capturing like the attention's ear, the listener's ear, it kind
mm,
of reminds me of going back to perfect example of Morte et Dabo by Asking Alexandria with Reckless and Relentless, because that
okay, I don't know
intro,
the songs
yeah,
actually.
that intro, it's like a choir monk chorus
Mm,
things with Morte et Dabo, but it's like
mm,
that was just a sample, like, and they just put it on there. But like,
right.
you can put that back and loop it because it's so good. It just draws you in, and then you just hear
Yeah.
Danny
You could
Warsine's
say
amazing
the
vocals.
same thing with for example, Parasite Eve, with Bring Me.
Oh my god.
That's like, I actually found that sample is like a Hungarian choir from like, I think it was like on Jimmy Carson or something, like a live
Really?
performance. So I actually found that clip, and it's just sometimes you just stumble over a cool sound, and they're like, maybe it just fits that song, but it's usually by accident that you find those really cool sounds or cool ideas. Oh shit, that wasn't on purpose, but oh yeah, we should do that. So I think a cool advice, if I'm in a position to give advice at all, but
You
it's
have a
like
lot of credibility, just saying. So you definitely can give
I
advice.
think it's definitely one advice that I got from some really cool people, is you have to take your accidents seriously, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Like maybe if it wasn't on purpose, if it sounds cool, then you should just go with that idea. It's usually like the best ideas that comes like not on purpose.
No, I can definitely relate to that. I have my tattoo artist. He's fantastic. Long story short, he not only does he tattoo, but he has these cleavers that he like designs and stuff. And he accidentally did something with like this gold spray paint, and like it just looked so great that he would. And then like, dude, he was selling like these like big old fucking knives like right out of the gate with designs on it because of that accident.
Right.
So
It's just
yeah.
you mentioned a tattoo artist and accidents, and that was like, oh shit.
It's like, this looks great. Like when he designed my
Oh,
forearm tattoo, he's like,
mm,
dude, like I don't know what colors to do. I was like, do purple and gold. And he's like, okay. And then like he
yeah,
did the wrong purple. And I'm like, bro, this looks really good. And he's like, yeah, it does.
yeah. But
So,
that's the same thing in the creative process, I think.
mm. I
So
just never know. What was Siamese doing? What were you guys doing before COVID hit? Like, were you guys on the road? Like, how was your
yeah.
situation? Yeah, who were you on the road with?
Um, it's actually been 2 years since I was on the road with Siamese. We have a stand-in guitarist, Christian, that plays the guitar.
Oh, nice.
We were just touring a lot. The last time I was like on a proper tour with Siamese, that was in 2017 or 18, I think. We were supporting a Swedish band called Dead by April.
Nice. I love that name.
Totally emo name. But that was like our first like proper tour in a nightliner bus, and it was just an experience, man.
It looked like a good time for sure. Yeah,
And
the lights and everything.
yeah, but otherwise the without me with Christian instead on guitar. There was, I think, 2 European tours and 2 Japanese tours, and they were supposed to play Australia, and yeah, a lot of touring. So that all got canceled, of course. But
Yeah, unfortunately.
we'll return.
Oh, absolutely, because you're touring with Slaves in October, and that's not anything different than what everybody else is doing in the industry. That everybody's preparing
Mm,
for the assumption of majority of the public will be vaccinated.
mhm.
And then not only that, like if something does go wrong, I guess you can technically reschedule it, just like we
Yeah.
did when the world first like shut down. The first time the world shut down.
Mm,
So in a sense, yeah, like Beartooth's doing it. They're coming out to a lot of European tours are definitely being booked in fall. Beartooth's doing one and
yeah.
two that 2022, so it's like January, like right out of the gate. And then
Mm,
Dance Gavin Dance is doing a fall tour as well, and that's in the States. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a touring musician anymore. I wish I was.
Right.
But maybe there's something in the industry that we don't know yet. Maybe if you provide some kind of proof of vaccination, that's going to be more of a reason for people to go to shows. So if that's the
Yeah.
case, like I don't care. Like I'm trying to get this vaccinated as fast as possible. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
let's
Me
go.
too. Yeah. I'm hoping that it's not like sitting concerts or whatever you call it.
Oh right,
In
yeah.
October, but actually last October we played a show for like, I think it was like 300 people,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of them were our friends. It was in Copenhagen. But yeah, 300 people, 350 or something. But that was actually really cool because everyone were sitting down, but they were still headbanging. And I, th- I think I saw one person trying to crowd surf on top of his friends. Well, like while they were sitting down, it's like it was like so fucking cool. But people were like headbanging sitting down, so it looked like fucking Viking ships. People were rowing. It was like so badass, and I think it was just a really good atmosphere. Everyone was like eager to see just a concert, but everyone there was just like either really good friends or really into Siamese. So that was I wouldn't mind playing more shows like that, but yeah, we'll have to see what happens in October.
Yeah, you
And
want people jumping in your face, I'm sure, screaming into the microphone. Like,
yeah, but if people it's definitely fun when people know your music. That's a very new thing for us when we go on like European tours or whatever. We're like still so like not weirded out, but we're really surprised that someone from another country actually knows the lyrics.
Yeah, it's got to
Um,
be a very, very satisfying situation.
yeah, it's just been 10 years doing like shit shows and shit tours. And
Yeah, the grind is
like,
real.
yeah, it's definitely really inspiring and motivating and just gratifying to actually meet people that it actually means a lot to them. And so that's pretty shocking,
Yeah,
to be
I mean,
honest.
if they can relate to the lyrics, I think that's like the one thing that music just has so much power with is although bands write lyrics or they write music to the way they view it, obviously because they're the
Yeah.
originators, a lot of people just take it and use it for their personal lives, like, and just spin it, and that's totally fucking rad, dude. If you want to take my happy song and it
Hmm.
copes with your sadness, fuck yeah, dude. Like that's
Yeah,
awesome. So
totally.
yeah,
It's pretty fun because it used to be only our singer that wrote the lyrics, and like now we collaborate on all the new songs. We collaborate on everything, and yeah, it's hard to write lyrics that actually that isn't corny. It's really hard to get like a certain feeling down onto paper or on your phone or whatever.
right, exactly.
It's just like to describe uh, a situation or a feeling that's really fucking hard. So, but I think we're writing the best lyrics we've ever done, and yeah,
Oh, 100%.
it's fun. It's just like a big puzzle. But it's really hard not to be genetic. Yeah, because home is actually just about Copenhagen or the way we feel about Copenhagen, and we just asked Drew to write about New York, basically. And we were kind of we just sing about like, it's just presented in such an aggressive way, but it's actually an like a love song to Copenhagen, basically.
I love that. I love that. That's so fucking cool, dude. That's so cool. I don't really hear a lot
Um,
of music that's like that.
Yeah, but it's like it sounds like a love song to a girl or something, but it's actually to our home.
Yeah, to literally
Hence
like
the
who has
title, I
had
guess.
your backs for these
Yeah,
10 plus years, dude. It's incredible.
yeah, but we just love living here, and we just yeah, Drew he just wrote his verse about New York, and yeah,
That's so incredible. Yeah, speaking with shows too, dude, like I had a guest from Australia on recently, Tristan from Waxflower, and they're having shows. They're doing the standby shows where you have to do stand a little bit far apart from one another. So they're, I guess, trying to get back into some kind of normalcy. I
mm.
think I don't know how that works, but like you said, if you're jamming the fuck out and it looks like everybody's just rowing a boat and wearing biking hats, like
Yeah.
that's pretty badass, dude. Like it's still
I think
something.
I think people can get used to anything. So if that's the way it has to be in the fall, then I think people will get the most out of it and still
Yeah.
like have a great experience and a great atmosphere at the gigs. So
Yeah, we're gonna we as human beings are going to appreciate these opportunities more so than
yeah,
we used to because this isn't
totally.
normal. We've been stripped of it for over a year now.
Yeah.
I didn't think like I was gonna be talking to like guests like at all on Skype in their home still. I thought I'd be talking to them on their bus or on the road or something by this point, but that's not the case. Like
Mhm.
the podcast just turned a year old on the third or on the 11th, and I'm like, we're still in this fucking shit show. Like you gotta get out of here, dude. Like
Yeah.
so that's wild.
It's a weird fucking situation. It's just like, but I think it's pretty cool to see how easily people adapt. At least here in Denmark, because it's such a different situation. Because Denmark is like 5 to 6 million people. That's the whole country, and America is just like I think it's like almost bigger than Europe. So
Yeah, we
it's
have
like having
327 million.
one country that's like that big. That's impossible. Like as you said, like the different
Like the states and stuff. Yeah, they all have different regulations and
The
stuff.
states are basically just countries, but it's actually all just under USA. So it's
You're right.
just
It's literally the same thing.
it's
Like Florida's completely open.
yeah.
Whereas like there are a lot of other stricter states that like like restaurants aren't really open to max capacity yet. So yeah, you're absolutely right. So,
But I'm not mad at like governments or anything. Like if I knew the answer to all those, like I'm not a fucking politician. So
neither am
like
I.
maybe I should just shut my mouth and be happy with what I got instead of like
who was prepared for
like
this? Nobody.
I'm not like if I'm
Yeah.
I'm just gonna find myself, but I get the the best out of the situation. But it'll definitely be nice to play some shows and travel soon.
Yeah, and Siamese also just got a booking agency locked in. You're on a label. Has there ever been talks about US at all touring?
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Let's go.
I think you can see like stats on your Spotify or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think the most listeners are from the US. So we definitely have to come over there and like all our favorite bands used to be like American. Like I grew up watching like Warped Tour DVDs and all that stuff. So of course we want to come to America. It just has to be at the right time, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I
So
was
it's
just
not
curious.
like
Yeah.
because it's just really expensive and it's people have jobs and stuff. So and we kind of like I guess we're like fucking grown-ups now. People have some of us have children or like careers going, so you can't just up and go. But I think we're grown up enough to just okay, if you can make that tour, we have a stand-in, and people are actually okay with that. I think the only person that can't send a stand-in is our singer. They're kind of suck, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically I think we're just waiting for the right time to actually okay, now we actually have enough radio play or enough people actually know us, so we won't so we don't have to like travel whatever 8 to 12 hours to play for 10 people.
Yeah, I talked to this. I talked about this with my friend Dave from Covet. They're a prog rock band. That is singing on some of their songs now because it used to be all instrumental. But they've I think fans, what they have to understand is they have to be patient because you can't expect these big bands, especially with like the numbers and such, like you can't break even on those tours because you have to live. Like you have to be able to put some money in your pocket when you go home because you still have bills to pay. So if you're gonna break even that entire tour, like it's great, but that's exhausting. So yeah.
It's weird because we played a lot of like European tours where it's like European tours and tours in the UK where we played for like 3 people. A lot of the shows. And so we've been through 10 years of playing shit shows. So I think we kind of paid our dues, but the songs are getting better and more people know us. And I think we'll definitely come to the US when it makes sense.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
But I think I hope it'll be soon.
Yeah, me too, honestly. It's just, again, Warped Tour is not a thing anymore, so I remember when a lot of bands out of the US came over from different countries across the pond, like In Heart's Wake from Australia. They came over for Warped Tour a couple times. And I know they're making decent money, but like it's not as much as they would like to. But it's also Warped Tour. Warped Tour really actually was a very well-rounded like cross-country tour. Like Kevin Lyman knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
Exactly what he was doing.
And it's a long time to go on tour. I think it's 3 weeks or 4 weeks or something like it. It's pretty long time that we're going on tour in October. And I'm pretty lucky that I can just more or less work from my laptop. But it's a big decision. Like if you have kids or you have like a proper job.
Yeah,
Like
seriously.
you can't just leave for 2 months. Um, it's just, I think when I was a teenager and I listened to all these bands and like idolize these emo bands or rock bands or like whatever music artists, uh, you don't realize that most of them, they actually don't do it for a living. It's
Right.
uh, it's pretty weird.
It is weird. I mean, I think one of the big things that I tried to talk about through social media, like bringing up like the
Mm.
old emo bands and such, like let's name some of the mainstream bands like Story of the Year, Anne Berlin, like those rock
Mhm.
bands. Like they don't really tour as much as they used to because the money's not there. They're adults, they have families, they're doing other jobs, and they play
Do
a
they still
hometown
exist
show.
actually?
Yeah, that's what I mean. They exist, but do they tour full time? No, but they
Yeah.
do play a couple shows and some festivals every once in a while, which is totally cool. But
Yeah.
they're not broken up. They just can't tour
Yeah.
like they used to, you know?
Yeah, and you kind of have to. I'm not too. I'm trying to learn a bit about the like the business side, but that's mostly our singers slash managers job. But there's a lot about timing when you go on tour. You can't just tour just for the sake of it. You can't do that, but it'll make more sense if you have an upcoming album or just released an album, or there's so many mechanisms that I'm not aware of.
Right.
And yeah, it's just, and sometimes people just don't want to do it.
No, they don't. Like my boss, Jeremy Weiss from CI Records, he basically, because I told him I want to take this podcast on the road, get vaccinated stuff, and blah blah
Hmm.
blah. He's like, that's great, dude, but like, guess what? We're not in the '90s. You can't just tour and like
Yeah,
make a living off of it, like right off the bat. Especially like because the podcast isn't well known in a
yeah,
sense, but it's like you just can't do it. You just
yeah.
now's not the time. There's different ways of marketing, like Spotify playlists, dude. I remember one year when, especially in the marketing situation, when it
Mm.
went from you have to have good numbers through like Facebook and Instagram and engagement, and then the next year you have to have great Spotify numbers or you're not getting on a tour package. And I was like, what? Like that happened
Yeah,
within a year? So it just changes all the time.
it's just there's no right or wrong way to do it, because I think we got some kind of following in Denmark or in Scandinavia because of touring, and our songs weren't that good, but we were just really intense on a stage. And maybe some people thought the songs were good, but I think it was, for us, it was definitely more about being really crazy on stage and be a good live band.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what really
and so
matters.
so we just toured our ass off, and I think people found it entertaining, so they kept coming back and told their friends and all that stuff. So, but it's definitely, if you wanna hit it like big, then you need the fucking songs, you know.
Yeah, you really do. Like Bring Me the
Definitely
Horizon.
helps.
Yeah, like
Yeah, but you can play like some crazy deathcore thing, and then I guess fewer people will show up, but they're like loyal as fuck.
yeah, seriously.
So it was like, oh hey, nice to see you guys again
Yeah, for
when
like
you
the
come back to a
for
certain
the
place.
for the fifth time on that tour, they're like following you. They're like touring with you, but they're in a like they're in
Yeah,
their own vehicle. You know what I
that,
mean?
that's cool too. But I think yeah, you need some of the other stuff as well. Um,
That's why I appreciate Siamese so much because although the band, like I just found out about you guys, which is great.
mm,
I'm not gonna be like I've known them forever, but what I'm saying is like the evolution and the realization of wanting to evolve the sound and such is so that's gonna bring more fruition to the band than it would if you just kept repeating the same process. Because Bring Me the Horizon, like they changed over the years, dude. That's like one of the biggest evolutions I've ever seen from a deathcore
yeah,
band in a sense to
yeah.
now they're alternative rock and they're writing catchy hooks like Parasite Eve, and that whole album is just fantastic. So yeah,
I think it has a lot to do with I think Jordan Fish, that's his name, right?
mm-hmm.
It's just you don't write the same some. Well, if you're AC/DC, you write the same songs because that's like a legacy thing. But that they just been writing the same song for
for
50 years.
right, I don't exactly.
But I think it's the same thing with just everyone. You're in a different phase or a different time in your life, and it's the same thing with being a listener. I don't listen to the same things as like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oops. It's just you always get like new inputs and new inspirations and stuff, whether you're a musician or a listener, I guess. And you kind of grow as a person. So it would be weird if you made like the same album 6 times.
Right. Exactly. Because like, what are you really
And
getting out of it? Like, it's just the same.
and you
stuff.
just it's just you it's the same thing with writing a song. Like every time you do it, you learn something new.
Yeah,
So
about yourself too. Yeah, I mean, you can go back to your
yeah,
playlist and like hear the throwbacks, but then on a regular basis, you realize you're listening to like me personally, like I'm listening to like just coffee shop jazz music, like you know what I mean?
whatever,
Right? Yeah, you just grow as a person, and you just
Yeah,
you just change your
yeah.
sound personally.
Yeah, but so I think this album definitely. I have a couple of like keywords that are kept coming back to when we just had 5 days. I think we went to last week we went to some summer house, I guess you would call it. We borrowed a friend's house in the countryside. That was like right up to the water, and we could like watch sunrises and sunsets and all that. Really relaxing stuff. And I think we wrote 4 or 5 songs that we feel are like the best we've written so far in
That's
10 years.
That's awesome. And when do you expect the album to drop? Like, not a specific date, but do you have like a time frame?
Sometime this year.
Sometime this year. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Not a specific date. I can't say that, but
Right. Exactly. That's not fair.
but we just wanted to be good as at the same time. More like way heavier, more dynamic, more theatrical, more yeah. It's definitely more of an album. The last album we put out, I'm still really happy about that album, but it was like 10. We tried to make 10 singles, and I just realized like some of the albums I really liked when I still listened to albums. It was because it was kind of like a journey, like into like a different universe. So I think that's what we're trying to do more, is more an album, and there's actually gonna be room for, let's just say, a 2-minute outro with just violins.
And then you're
Whatever,
gonna
just
have
make it fucking theatrical and beautiful and dark and
yeah, dude. And then like all of a
roller
sudden you're gonna have
coaster.
a whole orchestra. You're gonna have a whole orchestra like Architects and Bring Me, and then you're gonna just redo your song with an orchestra behind you.
Actually, oh yeah, but you mean the live video there, or
Yeah.
yeah, because we've been using like orchestrations and stuff for like at least 5 years.
Yeah.
Actually, since the first album, we've always been like suckers for Hans Zimmer and like just movie scores, and so that's not a new thing for us, using symphony orchestras and all that stuff. And we've had a fiddler or a violinist for 10 years.
It's incredible.
It's just yeah, it would be cool to do live, like as you mentioned, Architects just did it with I think Animals, orchestral version.
Yep.
And we're like, oh, that's really cool. But I've been wanting to do that since I saw Metallica and San Francisco Symphony
wow.
was it fucking 92 or not 94?
Somewhere
It was,
around there,
it was,
yeah.
no, it was maybe the late 90s. But I was like, as a kid, I listened to that concert. That's actually the only album I've ever listened or been a fan of by Metallica. That's like, fuck everything else. That concert, that's the most epic thing ever. Like I think I had Saint Anger that I listened a little bit to, but that concert just did it for me.
Hell yeah.
Like symphony, epic orchestra with fucking aggressive music.
Right. That's like
So that was like, yeah.
Like nobody knew that was actually going to come out of the gate, because they've been so aggressive since like Kill 'Em All, which
Yeah.
is like with like a
Yeah.
thrash metal album in itself too, and that's how I got hooked on Metallica. But then when
Yeah.
you mix two elements that you don't think are going to work together, but then in actuality, like it's probably one of the most beautiful things.
If
So.
it's well done, then heavy and or rock music and orchestral music will always work together if it's well written.
Absolutely.
So thank you to everyone who likes our band and listens to our band, including you, George. It's just it really means a lot to us. And tomorrow I'm having a meeting with our camera guy. I'm actually directing our next music video for our next single.
Let's go.
And that's gonna come out in May. So that's definitely something that we're looking forward to.
Absolutely, dude, and we're very looking forward to this.
Mid-May, that's the plan. Mid-May, we're gonna come with the next single, and then hopefully our album later this year.
Cool, absolutely. No, I thank you for stopping by. Music's incredible. I hope the best for the band, especially when the world opens back up. Maybe we'll see you in the U.S.
Thanks, man.
I don't know,
Definitely.
But great fucking music, dude.
Thanks, man.
We are going to see a lot come from Siamese in the future for sure.